Claiming to be exceptional oftentimes makes you not exceptional. And there's a lot of that going around today, especially with this American exceptionalism that's going on. You hear it from press briefings, from different people speaking at different times that America's best, Americans everything else. And if you look around the world, there'd be a lot of people that would highly disagree. I think of the old Daniel Tosh bit where he was talking about American exceptionalism and how people are like, it's the greatest place on earth. And he's always like, have you ever been to Fiji? Pretty awesome place. Nowhere like that in America. There's a lot of places in the world that would not take a second seat to anything America has to offer. But we do have good things here. But I don't think we have a foot to stand on when we're talking about being the best at anything. And it's not for lack of patriotism or pride and anything like that. It's just self-reflecting and being true about myself. But these people that want to be exceptional and promote this American exceptionalism really speaks a lot about their own selves and their character and how they feel about themselves. Always putting out we're the best, and talking about themselves being the best administration ever, doing all this other work, and in that, like, parallel that with putting down other things around them. This previous administration sucked. This person was a horrible person that caused all this. It's deflection off of anything negative coming to them onto someone else and just putting out this positive message. And what I found in life and living is that the people that tend to do this are the ones that have the least exceptional lives to live and talk about. They have low self-esteem, low views of themselves, low self-worth in anything. So they have to project this worth out. They have to project an image out that is better than what they feel that they actually are. A mask to put on. It's something I'm very familiar with coming from the Christian faith, where we constantly had to put on a mask. We had to make our church, our faith, look to the world better than what it actually was. Reality couldn't be part of it. You couldn't have fights and disorganized children or anything like that. They all had to be put together, properly dressed, obedient at all times. None of them had a smart mouth. They all were in line. They all obeyed on the first command. You had this image of the perfect family that you always tried to put forward into the world, and no one knew what was going on behind the scenes. We've known many families like this and knew the dirty secrets going behind them because we saw them, because maybe we're related or close friends or anything like that. But they put that forth, and it just truly wasn't what they were. And it's a lot of work and effort, but it's because they feel bad about reality and what things are, and that's just simply life. Things in life aren't rose-colored all the time. There's a lot of problems and issues, and when you can come out and just frankly admit to everything's not perfect, there's nothing really exceptional about anything that I do, and you just kind of accept it, that starts you on the path to exceptionalism. I think the key of everything on this is just understanding that I'm not perfect. I can work to try to be as perfect as possible, but when you start thinking that way, you realize you'll never get to that perfect state, because you'll always find something you can do better, or you can do differently, or do something completely different in your life too, or whatever. But you start realizing there's so much more out there to go. It's kind of the old axiom of the more you learn, the less you realize you know. The more you try to be perfect and understand that you have to work at it and that you have flaws and everything else, you realize the harder it is to get to that perfect level. And that's all right, because you just keep striving and moving forward. You find different things that you didn't think about before that could be offensive or non-charming characteristics of yourself that, oh, wow, I never knew that. Maybe I can work on that a little bit. But them people that start working on that are the ones that actually end up being exceptional people and exceptional character. They understand they're not perfect. They understand that they have warts and everything else on them, and they're free to admit it, because they humanize themselves. They operate in reality. They operate in a world that people can associate with and see that you can still strive instead of just trying to survive in life. But the people that project this exceptionalism, that everything's perfect and all that, you can't trust them, because they're constantly putting out a faux front. They're not honest about everything, and they're not honest about their own self-reflection. They can't assume or take accountability for anything they do. They'll deflect it off on others, or say it's just straight up lies and not true. They will never work on themselves. And by not ever working on themselves, they'll never get any better. And that's the thing that really strikes me about American exceptionalism. When we keep thinking we're the best without actually looking at the problems we have and addressing the problems we have, we'll never get better. The people that recognize the problems and see that there's definite issues in this country with dealing with race and sexual identity and sexual preference and women's rights and all this other stuff that's in the world, and just acknowledge that that's out there and are trying to do and understand what they can possibly do, those are the people that are going to make a difference, not the ones that are going to ignore it and say everything's great again.